In the current terror threat environment across Europe, how can military mobility in the EU contribute?
Yes, it is very important that we make this exercise and see if the infrastructure is fit for purpose. And this next step, which is the action plan related to this issue, is showing us that there are several topics that need to be addressed on the EU level. For example, of course, we need to have better alignment of regulatory issues. For example, like VAT, different taxes, different diplomatic issues that need to be resolved, and of course also the transfer of dangerous goods, for example. We're talking about dual use of the same infrastructure for civilian use and for the military use, and that's why this alignment and the fitness check is absolutely necessary.
We are now 2 years after the Dieselgate scandal. We are seeing diesel in decline, but still there is a consumer trend for bigger SUVs. Do you think the EU should tweak a little its approach towards CO2 emission rules to a more diversified and more adapted regulation?
Look, I need to be very clear that the EU is very much committed to the COP21 commitments, and of course decarbonization of the entire EU is one of our key priorities, and transport plays here an extremely important role. And when you're referring to a Dieselgate, of course we took all the necessary actions in order to make sure that this doesn't happen in the future again. We already have new rules for the testing of the cars, which include also the live testing. And we are preparing additional activities in order to make sure that this kind of situation doesn't repeat. But this is not the only action. In transport, we have a very clear strategy on decarbonization that has three very clear parts. First one is we are active on the area of clean vehicles. Second is that we are really pushing now for the investments in infrastructure for alternative fuels, and also, of course, all the sources that need to be provided for that. And the third one, into a much better, much more smart organization of European transport that will help also to use mobility less.
How is the EU Commission helping the aviation, the airline industry with Brexit?
As far as the Brexit and aviation is concerned, of course, we need to be very clear that there will be no winners in this procedure. But we want to make sure that the transport is as little disrupted as possible. So I'm very happy that aviation is part of the transitional agreement, which means that all the European regulatory rules will still be valid and apply in this transitional period. So the aviation will not be disturbed. But of course, I cannot speculate how this will be resolved in the future after the negotiations are completed.
Do you think this will have a big impact on London as a major airline hub?
Well, it's really hard to speculate what will be the future of London, but as I said, we will stay neighbours, and of course we act in this spirit and try to find the best way forward also after the Brexit.